coming up on this edition of Hawkeye News.
Farewell to the class of 2006. May 27th was the conclusion of many great high school careers as the class of 2006 proudly marched across the stage at the Dallas Convention Center to accept their diplomas. Find out what made this ceremony outstanding in this month's District in 60 Seconds.
Plus, Red Oak ISD is proud to announce their first ever Global Destination Imagination qualifiers. We will see how the team did in late May later in our show. In academic news, we'll bring you the latest state academic ratings for Red Oak ISD.
Also, we welcome back one of our most popular and informative segments here on Hawkeye News, the Counselor's Corner. This month we checked in with our wonderful counselors to see what we students need to know to get off to a successful start. Important information coming up.
And later, we'll check in with our new WC reporter, Lexi Belote, who will be bringing us news and information from the WC this year. This month, Lexi gives us a heads up for our incoming freshman class.
And finally, returning from last year's news team, but this time as our crime reporter, we welcome Leslie Rangel to bring us her first crime report of the new year.
You'll also meet the largest cast ever for Hawkeye News, as we welcome several new members to the team this year. All coming up next on this edition of Hawkeye News.
You're watching Hawkeye News with Katie Stanglin, Brandon Scott, Sports with Curtis Kelsey, plus Leslie Rangel with our crime-fighting reports, and more news coverage with our Hawkeye News Junior High team. Also, what's new at the WC with Lexi Belote. Plus, academic and student life reports with our Hawkeye News team. Hawkeye News, leadership you can depend on. Hawkeye News starts now.
Welcome to this first edition of Hawkeye News for the class of 2007. I'm Katie Stanglin.
And I'm Brandon Scott. It's back to school time once again and a new season for us here at Hawkeye News.
Brandon and I will be your anchors this year on Hawkeye News, brought to you monthly by Hadit and Project Success. We would like to thank the Red Oak ISD for this opportunity to bring you the latest news stories from around our district. At the end of our program, we'll tell you how you can contact us and give us your comments and suggestions, as well as ideas for news stories.
Before we get started with this month's headlines, we want to welcome to the show our 2006-2007 reporters. First, we go to a new reporter who many of you will remember from her starring role in Shattered Dreams 06, Brooke Gant, who is standing by with a special look at new faces around Red Oak High School and the district. Welcome, Brooke.
Thanks, Katie and Brandon. It's great to join the Hawkeye News team. Coming up, we'll meet a lot of new faces, including our new high school principal, Mr. Bobby Stoltz, who's just moved here from Athens ISD. We'll also introduce you to many new staff members around the district later in the show. Back to you, Katie and Brandon.
Thanks, Brooke. We look forward to that in just a few moments. But first, we want to introduce more faces to our team and welcome our new elementary reporter, Jennifer Terry. What's the word from the elementary schools, Jennifer?
Thanks, Katie. I am also glad to be a part of the Hawkeye News team, and this year I will concentrate on bringing you the good news from across our 4 elementary schools, as well as news from Red Oak Intermediate and the Elementary Intermediate Report. And although school has just started, we have a full plate of information for you from these awesome schools coming up later in the show.
Thanks, Jennifer. And as we said, this is the largest Hawkeye News team in our history. And to continue introductions, we welcome new reporter Lindsay Love as well. Lindsay?
Thanks, Brandon. This year I will be bringing you student life stories, those that show you just what an awesome district we have with great teachers, administrators, and of course, outstanding students. This month, I will take a look at a special school board member who gives so much of his time, not only to the board, but also to helping our students and some of their very important friends. See you later in the show.
It's pretty awesome, Brandon, having such a big cast this year on Hawkeye News, but we cannot forget to reintroduce, if you will, our returning cast members.
That's right, Katie. So we want to welcome back our returning reporters, India Fernandez and Catherine Martinez, as well as those moving into new positions with the team this year, such as Lexi Belote, who will come from the junior high to the West Campus, and Leslie Rangel, who will be taking over the crime reporter spot as well.
Hawkeye News also has a new sports team this year. Curtis Kelsey takes over as the new sports anchor and will be leading the sports team with our new dynamic duo, Trey Curry and Zach Toombs, who will cover Hawks and Lady Hawks sports in the field this year. And of course, we cannot forget to welcome the new junior high team, Chris McClure, Casey Bird, Hanana Saley, Roseanne Foster, and Wade Regas.
True. So with so much going on, we better get started. But before we kick it out to Brooke, we head over to the administration building to get a welcome back message from our superintendent of schools, Mr. Craig Stockstill.
I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all the students back to school and tell the teachers and students and parents how much I appreciate the smooth start to the new school year. I'm very proud of the accomplishments that we made last year and being a recognized district and having all our campuses recognized except the high school, which was academically acceptable. We're very proud of the progress that the high school is making and expect very much that they will see those scores go up. Thank you all for everything that you do to make our Road to Excellence together a meaningful experience for all our students. Thank you.
Thanks to Mr. Stockstill for taking the time to address the students and staff for our show, but also for his and other school administrators' support of Hawkeye News, and for allowing us to bring you the good news around Red Oak ISD for another year.
From all of us, best wishes to the administration and school board for another great year. Now, let's check in with Brooke to see what new faces will be leading us here at ROHS and around the district this year. Brooke?
Thanks again, Katie and Brandon. While I'm a new face on Hawkeye News, there are also many new faces in schools around the district. This month, I will try to give you just a little information on all those great new staff members we welcome to Red Oak ISD. From the administration office to a new principal at Red Oak High School, as well as changes at transportation in all our campuses, let's take a look at the new faces and new places around ROHS. A familiar face but in a new place, we kick off our Who's News segment by welcoming Mr. Shupman to his new office as Associate Superintendent of Operations. He will now be in charge of maintenance, grounds, custodial services, food services, transportation issues, and much more. Taking over for Mr. Shupman at the high school is Mr. Bobby Stoltz, who comes to Red Oak from Athens High School. Mr. Stoltz graduated in 1983 with a bachelor's degree in education from Tarleton State University, and then graduated in 1997 with a master's degree in education. Welcome, Mr. Stoltz, from all of us here at the Hawkeye News team. We would like to welcome all our new teachers and staff members, and we look forward to getting to know you this year. Also, to all who are returning for another great year at Red Oak ISD, we want to thank you for your dedication to helping us reach our academic goals and dreams. Reporting for Hawkeye News, I'm Brooke Gant. Now back to you, Katie and Brandon, for this month's top stories.
One of the most anticipated days of the year recently came for administrators and teachers at Red Oak ISD, the day the state academic rating results came out. Once again, Red Oak ISD is one of the top districts in the area.
That's right, Katie. While most of our surrounding districts held their academically acceptable rating, Red Oak ISD moved from academically acceptable up to a recognized district.
While we know that much more than tests determine a quality school district, it's clear that Red Oak ISD and its students have worked hard in many areas to reach this year's recognized status. The TEA website shows many indicators such as attendance, dropout rate, test scores, and much more that make up the recognized status. While many schools around us, including Waxahachie, Ennis, and Midlothian, were rated as academically acceptable, Red Oak leads the way once again. Each school in the district is given a rating, and while it's obviously much more difficult to rate higher at the junior high and high schools, Red Oak still did a good job in those as well.
All schools in the district, with the exception of the high school, earned recognized status, while Red Oak High School gained an academically acceptable rating. The district's overall recognized rating pleased board members, administrators, and teachers and should be a great source of pride with students as well. While Red Oak was one of only 330 schools out of over 1,100 in Texas to gain the recognized rating, the district will continue to reach even higher. Only one level above recognized exists, the very rare exemplary rating, and ROISD plans to be there very soon.
June 10th brought another great night of laughs and fond memories for many of us here at Hawkeye News, as Alan and Kimberly Oliver, along with Project Success, hosted another wonderful Hawkeye News banquet.
That's right, Katie. And this year also brought several other special guests to the banquet, as Project Success and Alan J. Oliver Productions also included a special awards night for the 2006 Shattered Dreams actors.
The banquet was a big success and included very special goodbyes for many longtime Hawkeye News members, with special tributes for longtime anchors Christian Henson, Natalie Hillary, Brady Sapp, and crime reporter J.D. Foster. The cast also had to say goodbye to one-year reporter Kara Miles, who also graduated and moved on to her college career. The banquet was held on Saturday, June 10th in the Red Oak High School cafeteria and was truly a night to remember for the news team. Producers Alan and Kimberly Oliver worked very hard to produce awesome video vignettes on all the news team members. Special presentations were given to all participants, with beautiful Oscar-type statues being presented to our news anchors.
The event was also highlighted by a wonderful barbecue dinner provided by Brett and Brenda Sapp, and wonderful decorations by Mrs. Donna Knight, who was assisted by Miss Katrina Knight and other members of the Project Success Parents Committee. Video vignettes were also produced to honor the 2006 Shattered Dreams actors for all their hard work. One of the most enjoyable segments was once again the bloopers and outtakes from both Hawkeye News and Shattered Dreams.
Some of our local business sponsors were also in attendance, and in all, over 100 people enjoyed a night of video remembrance, good food, and fun at the banquet this year. The news team for 0607 was introduced, and we're looking forward to hearing much more from our team members this year.
We send our thanks to those previously mentioned, as well as other committee members Ginny Lindsay, Alan and Kimberly Oliver, and Nita Bozone, who all pitched in to make this a special night for Hawkeye News and Shattered Dreams 06. One of our most popular and informative segments here on Hawkeye News last year was a segment we call Counselor's Corner. This segment will be presented several times throughout the year to inform students of important news from the counseling office. This month, we check in with our wonderful counselors to see what we students need to know to get off to a successful start, and meet the newest counselor here at Red Oak High School, Mr. Joe Moore, who will be the sophomore counselor this year.
My name is Moppy Miller, and I'm one of the counselors here at Red Oak High School. Peter Kostar and I split the seniors and the juniors. Mr. Kostar is A through K, and I'm L through Z. We're very excited this year because Joe Moore is coming to us, and he will be taking care of our sophomores. So any sophomore, be sure you come by and visit with Mr. Moore. Billy Osborne is the counselor on the West Campus, and she's taking care of all the 9th graders. Please pull out your calendars, and I want you to write some dates down. Sophomores and juniors, I want you to be sure and write down Saturday, October the 21st, because that is going to be the day for the PSAT. So mark your calendars, Saturday, October the 21st. That's for PSAT. Seniors and juniors, now write down Wednesday, September the 13th. That's our college night. You know, over 50 colleges will be represented. They'll be in the cafeteria. You and your parents are cordially invited to attend. So come by the counselor's office anytime. Visit with Miss Cleveland. She's our helper here on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. And if we can help you with anything, please come by and see us.
We would like to thank Mr. Kosadar, Mrs. Miller, Mrs. Osborne, Mrs. Hervey, Mr. Moore, and of course, Mrs. Cleveland, for all their hard work in helping us to be successful Red Oak High School students. We encourage students to really pay attention to this segment for important news from the counselor's office this year, and to let you know our counselors are always there, so stop by and see them if you need help.
It's time to check in with our WC reporter, Lexi Belote, who moves on from the junior high to bring us news and information to the WC this year. Welcome back, Lexi.
First, let me say again, it's good not only to be in high school, but also to be back as part of the award-winning Hawkeye News team for another year. This year, I hope to bring my fellow freshmen lots of news and information to help us all become successful high school students. The freshman year can be one of great excitement, but it can also be a year of lots of fears. The fear of a new campus, new roles, new teachers, and yes, even new expectations. We have heard that many students who have never even come close to filling in grades kindergarten through 8th grade can find themselves in a great deal of academic trouble if they don't manage their time wisely. It is very important to get off to a good start in your high school career, and with this and 3 more years to go, we are really in the home stretch of our pre-college and career years now. With more activities and social events such as football games, other sports, as well as many clubs and group obligations, many freshmen can find little time for the most important job, their schoolwork. We recommend talking to Miss Osborne about ways to help balance a busy freshman year. I hope to bring you much more clubs and organizations that freshmen can get involved in this year. While it is a balance between academics and extracurricular activities, we freshmen need to become successful in all areas and in turn get ready to become the best freshman class we can be. I hope to bring you much more news from the WC this year and encourage students and teachers at the WC to let me know if you have a great story idea. I hope to cover the best the class of 2010 has to offer. We have a great staff of teachers and office staff to help out at the WC, so stop by the office if you need any help. Reporting from the WC, I'm Lexi Belote, Hawkeye News.
This month's District in 60 Seconds is brought to you by Animal Hospital of Ovilla, the very best for your best friend.
Hello, Red Oak ISD. Well, the time has come for me to step into the shoes of the longtime master of the District in 60 Second segment, Christian Henson, to bring you all the great news from around the district in this segment we call District in 60 Seconds. This section brings you short bits of information from all over Red Oak ISD. This month, one final goodbye to the class of 06, National Night Out Against Crime, and more on the standardized dress menu for Red Oak ISD, all in this month's D60. Saturday, May 27th was the conclusion of many great high school careers as the class of 2006 proudly marched across the stage at the Dallas Convention Center to accept their diplomas. This was the second year graduation was held in the Dallas Convention Center, and many in attendance felt an outstanding facility for the event. Good luck to all those graduates in the next chapters of your lives. The 2006 National Night Out Against Crime was held August 1st in communities throughout the country. And very own Red Oak ISD Police Department, the City of Red Oak, and many other police, fire, and emergency services joined the event at Old Town Park in Red Oak. By now, we hope that all students in Red Oak have become familiar with the new standardized dress menu for ROISD. If you have any questions about the dress menu, you can learn more about it on the district website at www.redoakisd.org or check with your campus office. And that's your district in 60 seconds.
We're proud to welcome back another returning member of the news team that now takes on one of the busiest positions, our sports anchor, Curtis Kelsey.
Curtis will bring us his Power Pack segment of Hawks and Lady Hawks sports this year. How are things in the Sports Center this month, Curtis?
The beginning of school is a very busy time for sports around Red Oak High School. This month we will take a look back at all district and all state winners from softball and baseball, as well as a closer look at the upcoming football and volleyball seasons with our new sports reporters Trey Curry and Zach Toombs. This and much more, all after a word from our sponsors.
This month's Hawkeye News Sports is brought to you by Danny Humphreys at State Farm.
Hello Hawks and Lady Hawks sports fans, it's sports time. This month we pick up where our show left off in April last year, as we take a look at one of the most successful seasons in softball and baseball history here at Red Oak High School. Our sports coverage ended in April with our Lady Hawks just beginning the playoffs, and our boys baseball team working to win the first baseball district championship in more years than we could research. The girls finished as the second place team in district and started the playoffs taking on Dallas Adamson High School and pounding Adamson by a score of 13-0. The Lady Hawks would then run up against one of the top programs in the state, the Midlothian Lady Panthers, and would drop a heartbreaker by a score of 1-0. It was a great season for the Lady Hawks and for Coach Jones in his first year at Red Oak. In baseball, the Hawks finished strong as they defeated Athens on the road to lock up the District 14-4A championship and earn a bye in the first round of the playoffs. In the second round, the Hawks traveled to Hewitt Midway to take on Colleen Ellison and swept the doubleheader with scores of 4-0 and 7-0. Pitchers Chad McClin and Aaron Brewer combined with Gary Goldman for the sweep that moved them into a rematch with 14-4A foes, the Corsicana Tigers. The breaks did not just go the Hawks' way in the series and ended a great season for the Hawks as the Tigers swept the series played in Duncanville. While both the Lady Hawks and Hawks would have liked to see their seasons continue, the good news was not over as district and other recognitions came following the season. On the girls' side, the Lady Hawks placed players Stephanie Shelton and Sheridan Pearson on the all-district team, as well as Defensive Player of the Year Justine Pruitt, Pitcher of the Year Kelsey Krupnick, and Newcomer of the Year freshman Shelby Hall on the team as well. With all of these all-district performers coming back for their senior year, and Hall only a sophomore this year, the Lady Hawks look ready to compete in the new District 15-4A this year. The baseball team also filled the first team all-district team, which included Matt Curry, Adam De La Garza, and Casey Slate, along with District MVP Chad McClin, District Defensive Player of the Year Troy Elliott, and District Pitcher of the Year Aaron Brewer, along with Newcomer of the Year Evan Martinick. Both Matt Curry and Troy Elliott were also first team All-State Award winners, an award that shows just how strong our Hawks were in the 06 season. Like the girls, with McClin and Brewer back in 07 for their senior season, pitching should be a strong point for the Hawks as they too will take on new competitors in the 15-4A district next year. As we take a closer look at football and volleyball, I would first like to welcome our new dynamic duo of sports, starting with junior Zach Toombs. Welcome, Zach, and how are things looking out for our varsity Lady Hawks volleyball team this year?
Thanks, Curtis. My fellow sports reporter Trey will bring us a closer look at the varsity Hawks football team later in this report. But I'd like to start it off with the masters of the court, our Lady Hawks volleyball team, who notched another district title and had a strong playoff run in the 05 season. The Lady Hawks are off to a busy start, and that should be no surprise to Lady Hawks fans that have become accustomed to district championships and playoff runs in past years. This year, the ladies will have to step it up as they move into what looks to be a tough District 15-4A. The Lady Hawks will take on Ennis, Lancaster, and Corsicana from the old district, and will also have to face off with one of the toughest teams in the area, the Midlothian Lady Panthers, as well as the ladies from Arlington Seguin and the always tough Lady Indians of Waxahachie. While the competition level in district should be much higher, the expectations of Coach Stanfield and his Lady Hawks will continue their quest to bring home another district title and a strong state playoff run. This year, the team will once again be trying to replace some outstanding seniors from the graduating class of 2006. As always, Coach Stanfield has stacked the pre-district schedule with very strong competition, such as Richardson, Mesquite, Mansfield, and Lake Highlands, just to name a few, along with strong tournaments that will be held at Denton Ryan, Justin Northwest, and Trinity High Schools. The ladies will kick off district play against Arlington Seguin at Arlington on September 8th. Again, this 8-team district will be much more of a challenge for the Lady Hawks, but Hawkeye News feels our ladies will be up to the challenge. So, get on the bandwagon now and come out and support our Lady Hawks. That does it from here. Let's go out to Billy Goodloe Stadium to see what Trey Curry has for us on the varsity Hawks football team.
Thanks, Zach, and welcome to Hawks Football 06. The Hawks have been hard at work for the past few weeks under the leadership of head coach and athletic director, Coach Danny Edelman. Coach Edelman, after a year of learning new players, has set his sights and expectations high for the 2006 season. After a busy summer of hitting the weights, the guys have been extremely fired up for this season to get underway. After a very successful JV season for many of these now varsity players, the coaching staff has to be encouraged at what they have seen so far. Coach Edelman has also had a very busy summer as he has had to bring in many new coaches to this year's staff as well. The Hawks will have several good tests in pre-district before facing off against some of our old 14-4A foes in Ennis, Corsicana, and Lancaster. This year, the Hawks will open the season on the road as they take on Denton Guyer on September 1st in Denton. The Hawks will open the home schedule on September 8th against a playoff team from last season, the Lake Dallas Falcons. Homecoming will be the following week for the Hawks as they will entertain the Hillsboro Eagles before ending the pre-district schedule on the road against Thomas Jefferson High School. The district schedule looks to be the test of all tests for our Hawks, as they have home games against Waxahachie, Midlothian, and Ennis, as well as road games at Lancaster, Arlington, Seguin, and Corsicana. To reach the playoffs, the Hawks will have to place in the top 3. Ennis has long been a powerhouse in football, but many of our JV Hawks from last year felt that we were just a few plays away from taking down Ennis. Ennis, however, is not the only team the Hawks have to worry about, as Waxahachie, Lancaster, Corsicana, and Arlington Seguin all moved into the playoffs last year, with Midlothian following just one game short, but coming out with a big win over our Hawks in pre-district last year. The Hawks will look to many returning players from last year's varsity, as well as many underclassmen who made their mark in JV last year, to bring leadership to this team this season.
Over the summer, we've been doing a lot of hard work. We got 7-on-7, we're in weightlifting. Everybody's going to be contributing to the team to make this team a better year, to step forward, and that's what we're doing. We're going to go state, like Mark said. That's how we're going.
The kids have worked tremendously hard during the spring. We had a great spring training, 18 straight workouts. We've got a lot of things accomplished. We're thousands of miles ahead right now to where we were last year. And more importantly, our summer program. We had great commitment from the kids up here this summer. They worked tremendously hard. So I think that's one thing that's definitely turned around as far as mental preparation, physical aspects of getting ready to play this year, and then the kids setting goals during the spring through our off-season program, and then reaching those goals a little at a time all spring long. We're very excited about the season getting started.
Thanks to Coach Edelman and, as always, Ms. Stenglin for providing us with up-to-date information about Hawks sports. And as the captain of the A-team this year, I want to see you all at the game supporting our Hawks this season. Reporting for Hawkeye News, I'm Trey Curry, and back to you, Curtis.
That brings our first busy month of sports to a close. But we will be back in September to bring you more on football and volleyball and a closer look at cross-country and fall tennis, as well as a special report on the new press box at Goodloe Stadium. We would like to thank our coaches and Ms. Stenglin for helping us with all the news in the world of Red Oak High School sports this year. Thanks also to our sponsors, and we hope to see you at all the Hawks and Lady Hawks athletic events this year. Katie and Brandon, back to you.
Thanks, Curtis. It's a little strange seeing you without the other part of your dynamic duo in sports this year.
Yeah, but I must admit, I like having been upgraded to co-anchor this year. But enough of that. It's time to check in with our junior high news team. And I do mean news team, as they have gone up from 1 member to 5 this year. How are things starting off with the junior high, guys?
Thanks, Katie and Brandon. I'm Chris McClure, and I'll be anchoring for the new junior high bureau this year. Speaking for all of us on the junior high team, we're excited about covering the junior high, and we encourage our teachers and classmates to find one of us and let us know about the news you would like to see on Hawkeye News this year. This year, our reporters will alternate months by teams. Our first reporter is Hanan Asaley. Hanan?
Thanks, Chris. I'm Hanani Saley, and Chris is right. From band to athletics to all the great stories about the awesome students and teachers here at the junior high, we all look forward to covering our school this year. We're all going to be scouting out the stories to keep our students informed, and I would love to hear about art, theater, choir, and all other activities. So let me know if you have a good story. Now to Wade Regas.
Thanks, Hanan. You're right. We would like to invite our friends at the junior high to contact us with story ideas. You may email photos or stories to our junior high advisor, Miss Katrina Knight, in the theater room. I will be checking out the world of sports at the junior high, so coaches, please let me know what great things are happening in our athletic program this year. I'm Wade Regas, reporting for Hawkeye News. Chris, back to you.
Now let's head over to the junior high campus to see what's going on with our other team members, Roseanne and Casey. Ladies?
Thanks, Chris. I'm Roseanne Foster in the hot junior high gym, where a lot of construction is going on to replace the dressing rooms that had to be torn down after some serious structural problems were found last year. We will keep up with the progress of construction in the coming months, and we'll let you know when the dressing rooms will open, according to school officials. Now to team member Casey Bird in the halls where it's probably much cooler. Casey?
Yes, Roseanne, it is much nicer inside. And for some of us as 7th graders, it means getting used to a lot of differences from our intermediate school days last year. Next month, I'll bring you a story on what our counselors, principals, and teachers say it takes to be a successful junior high school in our September show. But for now, I'm Casey Bird. Back to you in the studio, Chris.
Thanks, guys. We'll see what great news you have coming up for us in the coming months. I'm Chris McClure, along with the rest of the junior high team. Back to Katie and Brandon in the studio.
Wow, that's pretty cool to see a complete junior high team, especially knowing I was the first junior high reporter back my 7th grade year. Best wishes to the new junior high team. We look forward to complete coverage from you this year.
August is not only a busy time for our student athletes, it is also a very busy time for our very own award-winning Mighty Hawk Band. To bring us a closer look at the new leadership of the band for 06-07, we go to one of our returning members on the news team, Catherine Martinez. Catherine?
The Mighty Hawk Band is once again hard at work practicing hours each day for the upcoming March season. With the departure of Mr. Mark Pease at the end of the school year, Red Oak High School welcomes Mr. Richard Thomas as the new leader of the band program and also looks to the student leadership of Manuel Gonzalez and Christina Polinsky. Mr. Thomas earned his Bachelor of Musical Education degree from Baylor University, where he studied conducting with Michael Hathcock and Jay Gilbert. Previously, Mr. Thomas directed bands in the Klein, Birdville, Arlington, and Keller school districts. His high school and junior high bands have received consistent superior ratings at UIL contests and have also been recognized at several band festivals as best in class and overall grand champion. He has served as a concert sight reading adjudicator in several UIL contests around the state of Texas and has judged marching contests in Texas, Louisiana, New Jersey, and Connecticut. He has also served as camp clinician conductor for summer band camps at Baylor University and Sam Houston State University. As a performer, Mr. Thomas has performed with the Texas Wind Symphony, the Wichita Falls Symphony, Symphony North of Houston, and the Houston Symphonic Band. Recently, he has also served for 2 seasons as the music director-conductor of the Northeast Orchestra. Mr. Thomas is married to Sarah, who is a former band director herself in the Mansfield ISD and a former member of the LD Bell Band and the Midwestern State University Band. The band is already hard at work on their marching routines for football games and competitions again this year, many times braving the 100-degree heat on hot concrete pavement to continue to be one of the best bands in the state. Our band has always been a great source of pride for our school, so we encourage our students to support the band as they perform at halftime at Varsity Hawks football games, starting with the season opener in early September. Hawkeye News will bring you more on the Mighty Hawk Band in future editions of our show. On behalf of Hawkeye News, we welcome Mr. Thomas and his assistant directors to Red Oak. I'm Catherine Martinez, Hawkeye News.
While the familiar crime reporter J.D. Foster is now busy at Texas A&M University, the need to educate our students on drugs and alcohol remains. So we welcome our new crime reporter to her new position on the show.
Leslie Rangel takes over the Crime Report, sponsored monthly by the Texas Department of Public Safety Officers Association. Welcome, Leslie.
As this new school year starts, the big change that we see in our hallways is the new standardized dress policy. Many students see this new policy as dumb and even make fun of the idea that some of their fellow students could be affiliated with any type of gang activity. Gangs are everywhere, and although we may not see it in our community, they are still there, posing a big threat for younger generations to come. There are many signs that could be either associated with gangs or just simply mistaken to be connected. One major way that gangs show their pride is by the clothes and colors they wear. One example is the biggest national rivalry between the Red Bloods and Blue Crips, which are mostly promoted in rap songs and magazines. Although gangs do adapt to a certain style of dress, many are still young and like the idea of being in style. Gang members aren't ignorant. They are completely aware that some of the clothes and colors they wear are becoming quite obvious, thus changing their styles from one day to another. Some of the following items of clothing or accessories that could be associated with gangs: colored handkerchiefs, rags that are worn on the head, around arms or wrist, hanging from pockets of baggy pants or even tied onto belt loops. These usually indicate an alliance within themselves or with other gangs. Pants that are worn beneath the waistline, sagging, with boxers hanging out that are usually the same color as the rag, and t-shirt. Many of the pants are usually at least 2 pant sizes bigger than the actual size of the wearer, and the Dickies work pants are also a popular style amongst the gang culture. Colored beads are another common sign that have been recently noted to be used by gang members. The colors of the beads are determined by the gang colors and may be fashioned into necklaces, keychains, worn in shoelaces, and even used in braids. There have even been reports of misused religious items like the colored beads of rosaries. Colored shoelaces and shoes are another new sign linked with gang identity. Again, the color would depend on the colors of the gang. Some popular trends are the use of the British Knight tennis shoes, whose initials are BK, which also stand for Blood Killers, and the Columbia Knight tennis shoes, which stand for Crip Killers. Also popular are the old-fashioned Nike tennis shoes, which are referred to as G Nikes. Our administrators and parents are only looking for our best future for us and all of our classmates. It is plainly stated that the purpose of this policy is to give the district a positive and distinctive identity and reflect the values of the schools and community. Red Oak ISD further goes to state that the business of school is student learning, and that school dress and grooming standards should support the purpose and should promote safe, orderly learning environment. If you feel you are being harassed or pressured to be in one of these criminal organizations, or even if you have a friend or classmate you are worried for, please do not hesitate to let one of your teachers, parents, or local school or city law officers know. To succeed in life is not to show how big and bad you are, or how popular you are, but to prove yourself to be a respectful, honest, and successful person in the future. Each and every one of us have younger students who look up to us. Be a positive role model and promote a safer community. No matter where you are, someone is always watching. Make the right choice. As we have been told, it is really up to us as students to make our schools safe places to learn and grow. If you have information that you need to pass on to our campus police, talk to one of the officers. Or if you want to remain anonymous, call the 24-hour tips line at 972-576-8477. That's 972-576-TIPS. That's it for this month. I'm Leslie Rangel, Hawkeye News.
As school ended in May, we were keeping our eye on some special students from Red Oak Intermediate who were going where no other Red Oak ISD students had gone before, to the global competition of Destination Imagination. As most of us were getting ready for our summer break, DI sponsor Mrs. Rhonda Taylor and her Destination Imagination team, named Bankers of Imagination, were getting ready to compete against kids from all over the world in the global competition. In a statement from Mrs. Taylor, we found that the Bankers finished an amazing 26th place out of 74 of the best teams in the world. Mrs. Taylor stated that she was very proud of the team for all their hard work and dedication this past year. She also wanted to mention her appreciation for such a supportive group of parents. The team from Red Oak was the first team to arrive and register in Knoxville, so they were chosen to cut the ribbon to open the global finals. Mrs. Taylor said that it was an action-packed week that the kids involved will never forget. The team participated in a 3M challenge, took part in the Accept the Challenge camp, attended Adventures in Chemistry camp, and met teams from all over the world, including teams from Poland and Guatemala. The kids were able to trade pins with other teams and make new friends. Mrs. Taylor went on to say she wanted to thank Beth Lopez for allowing the team to practice in her room this year and for helping her with practices when her schedule allowed it. Thanks also went out to Mr. Major for the support he gave the team over and over again, as well as to Becky Mortensen, Jackie Strange, and all the ladies over at the administration office who helped along the way. Last but certainly not least, Mrs. Taylor and the team wanted to thank Mrs. Linda Peterson and Mrs. Dawn Woodyat, Mrs. Dusty Scoggins, and all the Red Oak Intermediate family for helping the team in so many ways. The team had to do a lot of hard work and fundraising to get to Tennessee, so they wanted to say thanks to our community and school district for making this dream possible for these young champions. Mrs. Taylor did an outstanding job, as did Karen Anderson with all her help in planning and organizing the fundraisers, as well as Terry Jackson for all her help with the team and practices. Red Oak ISD can be proud of the Bankers of Imagination and can look forward to more DI champions in the future.
One of our most anticipated segments each month in past years has been our elementary report.
This year, it will take on an even more important role as new Hawkeye News reporter Jennifer Terry will keep an eye on not only our 4 great elementary schools, but also on our outstanding intermediate school and her beat called the Elementary Intermediate Report. Welcome to the team, Jennifer.
I am happy to be a part of the award-winning Hawkeye News team this year and look forward to hearing many great things from our elementary and intermediate schools that I can share with our audience. This month, we get started with some end-of-the-year events from the 05-06 school year. First, we start with a visitor who traveled around to all our elementary schools to share the words of a good book. Mrs. Winona Frady Armour is the author of the very popular children's book, Arkansas's Little Red Hen. Mrs. Armour told students how she came up with the idea of the book and then read the book to the students. The students really seemed to enjoy Mrs. Armour, and many of them now have a favorite new book in Arkansas's Little Red Hen. At Shields Elementary during the months of March and April of 2006, the students were introduced to folk and square dancing. Music teacher Mrs. Diane Major had the opportunity to teach students during their weekly music time. The students had a great time, and it provided some good exercise as well. Great job, Shields students. Also at Shields, the school celebrated National Library Week, the week of April 2nd through the 8th. All students received a special library bookmark, and a teacher wrote reviews of their favorite books to display in the library. Fourth graders sent birthday cards to the beloved children's author Beverly Cleary, who turned 90 on April 12th. We also wanted to thank Mrs. Debbie Temple and Mrs. Karen Miller from Red Oak ISD Public Relations Department for information on Woodin Elementary's Reaching Out and Caring for Kids After School Rock Enrichment Program for 3rd and 4th graders. As you will hear in a special report, the intermediate school achieved a great accomplishment with advancement to globals. So we will check in on ROI in September to see what other great news is in store for this year. Teachers, please send your story ideas to Chief Lindsay so we can report on all the great things your kids are doing. Until next month, for the Elementary Intermediate Report, I'm Jennifer Terry, Hawkeye News.
Many times we hear of doctors going the extra mile to save someone's life, but few times do we hear of such stories of veterinarians who do the same to save the life of that special animal that we humans love and care for so deeply. This month we welcome another news reporter to the team, Lindsay Love, to bring us a story shared by one of our Red Oak ISD teachers, Mrs. Lord. Lindsay?
Thanks. Recently, Miss Lord shared the story of how one of our Hawkeye News sponsors, who happens to be a school board member and well-known local veterinarian, Dr. Mark Stanfield, saved the life of her daughter, Emily Schoheffer. Our FFA students have a very hard job, as many of you know, in caring for grooming, feeding, and even giving medical treatment to show their animals. Recently, while Emily Lord was busy at the ag barn caring for her animals, something went very wrong. Emily watched in shock as her heifer immediately got very sick after being given an injection of antibiotics. As the heifer, named Sophie, began foaming at the mouth with her eyes almost completely shut, it was clear the animal that Emily had spent so much time working with was dying. One of Emily's friends, Sean McCumber, quickly thought to call Dr. Stanfield for help. Being Saturday afternoon did not stop Dr. Stanfield from answering the call, and even though he normally does not treat large animals, he began giving them information over the phone, telling them what to do. He told them Sophie was in shock and needed an injection really quick, or she would certainly die. Dr. Stanfield quickly sent a technician that lived near the high school to verify the symptoms and had her get the medication. Thanks to the quick actions of Dr. Stanfield and his staff, Emily is very thankful to have Sophie still with her. Ms. Lord went on to say that she could never thank Dr. Stanfield enough for going above and beyond the call and saving the life of an important part of their family.
It's definitely changed my life, and I'm more thankful for just the people in the community that are out there to help, that we take advantage of just every day. And so Dr. Stanfield saved our lives, or saved her life, and saved us from losing her. And so I just want to take this opportunity to thank him for what an amazing job he did and how important he is to us.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
We thank Ms. Lord for sending us this information, and we thank Dr. Stanfield for his compassion, not only for helping animals, but also for those of us who love those animals. Reporting for Hawkeye News, I'm Lindsay Love. Back to you guys in the studio.
Late in the 05-06 school year, we were unable to bring you results from the Red Oak Special Olympics meet held in Kaufman.
The athletes did a great job at the meet, according to team coach Marge Adams, who sent us this report. Miss Adams stated that Red Oak took 27 athletes to the event, and they all had a great time. The team won 18 gold, 12 silver, and 15 bronze medals during the meet.
Mrs. Adams wanted to thank her two assistant coaches, Robin Gilmore and Deb Harner. The teams will be back to work as school gets started for 06-07. Well, that about does it for our first show of the new school year.
That's right, Brandon, and we look forward to bringing you much more the rest of the way from now until graduation day 2007. We also wanted to remind you that we really love to hear from you, so if you have any news ideas, comments, or suggestions, you can write to us at hawkeyenews@redoakisd.org. Or give us a call at 469-437-6837. And don't forget to check us out 24/7 at www.hawkeye-news.com. I'm Katie Stanglin.
And I'm Brandon Scott. Until next time, thanks for watching.
And make it a great day.